Hi guys, welcome to FreeToBeFit MTRW. We're switching things around for August. We'll have days designated to specific body parts, plus the cardio piece of the workout, and of course our poly yoga routines. I also hope you had a chance to check out the aerial fitness yoga. Click here. Well, here, it doesn't matter. Click here on the link to go to the video. It's a beginner introductory series. We're starting with about 10 initial exercises on silk, and I'll continue with those series, and if the weather permits there'll be more coming out, but there is another one coming out on Tuesday, so stay tuned. Anyway, until further ado, let's get to the workout. Legs, legs, legs. Well, since I don't work out in the gym, I don't have a leg press machine. Even though I have a squat rack, leg press machine really gives you that different angle to work out on your legs, and especially with, I don't know, with women, or maybe it's just me, but I find it really difficult to work my legs, to get them to lean out. It's just, I don't know, maybe because, I really don't know, because they usually say women work more legs and men work more upper body, but I find it easier to tone in my upper body versus my legs. So, going back to the leg press machine, I don't have one, but I do have resistance bands. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my resistance bands to initiate similar movement like in the leg press. So here it is. I have a BXT gym. You can go to my website to find out where you can get one of those. This is about $250, but here's the deal. It can be attached to any wall, whether it's with 2x4s or brick. And it has two sets of resistance bands in the center, and then another piece going up and down on both sides for resistance. So it's like a big pulley system machine in your house. And for $250, this is really a steal. Will you have to buy additional attachments? Yes. But generally, even with the first one, even if you're an advanced user, if you limit the rest between sets and you really put all your effort into it, you won't need new tubes for a while. So what I did is I brought the center piece all the way down. Now I'm gonna get underneath it, and I'm using two. You can use one tube if you're a beginner. At this point, make sure that your shoulder blades are flat on the mat, so walk them in. Bring your hips off the floor and place them on the tubes about hips width apart. You want it at the same 45-degree angle. Place your hands against the wall. Make sure that your lower back is not overarching and your tailbone is flat on the mat. From here, extend your legs out, bring them in, just like in the squat, in the leg press. Extend them out, bring them right on a 45-degree angle. And when you bring them in, don't let your butt come up. Control them with your lower abs. So this is the first exercise. If you don't have a BXT yet, or you're not interested in buying it, if you have a resistance bands, grab it into hands, extend your hands out, press them to the floor. You won't get the same heavy leg workout, but you can still exhaust your muscles with the thick resistance bands and high reps. So the benefits will be very, very close. Second exercise is the wall squat. The purpose of the wall squat is to pattern correct squat movement in your body. A lot of times either the legs go out, the legs go in, the butt wings, or you don't go below parallel. Well, most of the time there are two issues. Your ankles have a little mobility, your lower back is weak. Obviously if it goes in, that means the adductors are weak and they can't press out, or there is a glute disconnection. So to fix that and to pattern, you will need a weight. I'm using a kettlebell. And you will come to the wall, move things out of the way. So find a wall, don't have a wall by the door. Same idea, grab the bell. Stand with your feet slightly wider than the shoulder width. Well, what it is, it's the same stance as the squat. You squeeze the glutes, shift the weight back, see where the feet fall naturally. Shoulder blades back. You might, because you're still patterning and still learning, you might have to go a little bit wider to make sure that your body moves in the correct pattern. And also that teaches you to stay, to maintain the upper body, because a lot of times when we go like this, and that's where the lower back goes, that's where the legs are not working, and you won't get the benefits. So back to the squat pattern. Toes slightly wider, slightly out, shoulder blades driving back, go down, and come up. Go down, and come up. And when you go down, don't let the contraction of the glute go. So the glute is always contracted, and when you come up, squeeze your glutes on top. Next one. Well guys, exercise number 3. If I'm in a gym setting, go with the leg curl machine. So this workout can also be done in a gym, not just in the house, and where you have all the equipment. How would we substitute the leg curl machine? Here's my attachment. I have an ankle resistant band that's connected to my weight rack. So anything you can connect to that doesn't move. Maybe a piece of furniture, a table. So when you're doing the curl, you know for sure that it doesn't move. And I know usually when you're working with pulley machines or resistant bands, you're facing in and you're doing this movement. And I think it's great. I would highly recommend doing it as well. But for our today's workout, you will need a ball. So what you want to do is, your foot will, depending on your strength, remain pretty close to the opposite attachment. Find your way on the ball so you can support yourself with your hands. Shoulder blades gliding back. Bend that leg. Oh, you see, I need to be a little bit out. Bend that leg. Bring the thigh, bring the quad off the ball. And at this point, you will do the curl. I find this way, you work on stability, not just the leg curl. But a lot of times when I'm working on my hamstrings, I find ways to cheat. In here, you have to engage the glute to stabilize yourself. So I'm distracting my glute from the hamstring work. I had the tailbone injury years ago when I was a kid, where I cracked the tailbone and the vertebrae above it. And it healed, but it healed with consequences because I didn't know better. My parents didn't know better. I now compensate, and this is very normal. A lot of people have overreactive glutes and underreactive hamstrings. So in this position, I'm taking the glute out of the equation because it's focusing on stabilizing the body while the hamstring is really doing all the work. And if you want, when you're done with this, turn around and do a little more leg curls. So you're kind of focusing it from eccentric and concentric load, which I think is great. Next one. Next exercise, leg extension. So work the back, work the squat, now the front. So all things of doing it. Of course, you can keep the attachment on the table, face out, extend the leg. Another option is, and this is what I'm going to go with, is another kind of 2-in-1 work. You're sitting on the ball, you have to maintain upright, engage your core to stabilize it. At this point, you will extend the leg, so you have to make sure that the band you're using, it will give you enough resistance and it will be burned out after the first set. And you will extend it out. This is working your core, working your quad, and this is how it looks from the side. I will have to switch it. And you can support yourself by the wall if you want. You can put the legs out. You can put the legs by your side. But what it does, it teaches your body also to work in unison. So yes, you're isolating, but because this is not a heavy weight exercise where you really have to keep all the focus just on the movement, and you have to, but it also teaches you that you have to keep your body erect. You have to engage other musculature, even though this is just a quad walking, to stabilize and bring everything into the center. Another option, if you don't have stability ball, you can use a chair, or just stand straight, raise the knee so it's 90-degree angle, and extend it out. Or this is a great option if you only have one level of resistance, because when you're on the ball, since the extension is at the band knee, there is less resistance. This provides you a higher level of resistance. Next one. Next exercise is a stiff-legged deadlift. For this, pick a weight where you can make sure that you're not compromising your lower back. What you want to do is you want to put it in front of you and you want to come to the wall about a foot away. So you want to make sure that you're not hinging way far back and you're really maintaining the weight over the center line. From here, engage your glutes and hinge at the hips. Grab the weight. So this is a stiff leg. That means the difference between the stiff legged deadlift and the straight and the regular is that in the regular one, once you get the weight comes back to the knees, you will do more of a squat. In the stiff legged deadlift, you're maintaining the stiff leg all the way down and all the way up. If you're somebody who is a beginner, you can prop the weight on a box. So it's a hinge, shoulder blades engaged, gaze is in front of you, natural curvature of the lumbar. You want to come in and come up. And you can, if you don't have the weights, you can do it with resistant band. Just grab resistant band and do the same thing. Next one is super wide plie squats. Grab a weight that's comfortable. What you want to really wide plie. That means stones are more out than in, and they're not just like a little bit slightly on an angle. Come into the plie and drop the weight. So what you want is, you want your glutes and adductors working through the entire movement. And when you come in, you want to make sure when you go down is that the knee is not over the toe. You will come up without the weight, come in, grab the weight, come up, drop down the weight, come up. I found that adding this, the drop of the weight actually engages it more of the inner thigh than it would if you just go up and down. Next one. For the next exercise, you will need 2 sets of weights. If you don't have weights and you have just the ankle resistant bands, put the resistant bands inside of the weights. This will be the walking lunges. So approach the weight, pick it up, and this will be a lunge where you will do a long step. So step long, lunge, come up. Step long, lunge, and make sure that your body is not tilting forward and you're staying upright. So it's the same as stationary lunge, it's just we're walking, meaning there is more core engagement. Next one. Our next exercise is glute kickback. Attach the strap on the low setting, or if you're in a gym, it's a low pulley machine. Hinge at the hips to create an angle. From here, you will kick it back. Make sure that you got enough weight that the leg is engaged through the entire movement. You can either do a straight leg or you can bend and come out. See and play what works a little bit better for you. If you're on a machine, there is a glute leg kickback leg machine, and it works exactly like that. I would even alternate. One straight, one bend. One straight, one bend. It will burn. The next exercise you will need. For the next exercise you will need the resistant bands. So what you want is, you want it strong enough that when you go to the side, it actually resists your outside, just like the abductors. You'll just step sideways. So make sure it provides enough, like this is not, I'm going to use a different band, but the idea is that the step itself will be resistant, and this is not, shouldn't be really wide. If you don't have anything, step and squat. Step and squat. So again, play with what you got, because sometimes, well, if we just got the one resistant band, either wrap it around twice or do a wide step, squat, and then do another one. If you do have a stronger one, this should be just as wide as this, and your glutes should be engaged. Well guys, for the next exercise you will need the medicine. For the next exercise for your abductors, you will need a ball or resistant band, or you can do an adductor machines, and if you're in the gym, so you can do the abduction, the one before this, and an adduction, and for this one. If you don't have the machine and you're not in the gym, you're at home, grab the ball. Place it right in where the center of the ball is pressed within your knees. So really press it, and from here flex the knee, flex the feet, and squeeze. What you want is the engagement of the abductors. Your shoulder blades is on the floor, so it's flat. Hands by your side or out, and really working the squeeze from in. make sure that your abs are also engaged to protect your lower back. And our last exercise is for our last exercise is the last but not the least are the calves. So what you want either stand by your side, or if you need help, stand by the wall, and you literally want to go through the entire range of motion in your calves. You will first do your calves standing forward, and of course you can grab a weight or a bar. You can also prep your toes. Then you come out slightly out, so the toes will be like in a Pilates stance, out, shaping the letter V, 90-degree angle. And you come up, come down. When you come down, don't go all the way down, really leave about a centimeter before the floor. Then you turn little toes out, so the toes, turn the toes in, and come up again. This is, I find, a little harder. We're training different angles of the calves. Well, this was it for today. Until next time, free to be fit. Ciao.